Welcome to our product demonstration for Exponent Faces. In this demonstration, we're going to talk about creating clips from existing movie files within your case file. Here we have a sample video that I'd like to play for you. And the purpose of this is just to show you, first of all, the amount of time in the video and draw your attention to what could be a point of interest in investigation. This chap that's about to appear here in a black jacket is our person of interest, and the time index is 14 seconds. So this is a perfect example where maybe instead of having to report and play back an entire 42 seconds for investigators or for the courtroom, you can extract just a piece of this video and work with that. So I'm going to pause this for now, and then I'm going to close down this video. Here we have a prepared case file in X-Ways Forensics, and our video file has already been loaded. We're going to place a check mark here, we're going to tag it, and then we're going to run our extension. Now in a moment the Exponent Library Launchpad will appear, and we will proceed with selecting the Faces extension on the far right, as you see here. We are going to get a pop-up window here in a second. I'll click OK. This is because we're using a trial version for the purposes of the demo. And up comes the main window for Exponent Faces. The first thing we want to do is define the video action. And because we're trying to create a clip, we have two options. We can create a clip and do not extract frames, in which case we're just going to chunk out a piece of the video and add it to the case. The other option is to do the same thing, chunk out a piece of video, call it a clip, and then once we have that clip, from the clip we want to extract frames. So we're going to choose that option here because over here we also want to detect and match faces. Actually, I apologize. For this exercise, we're only going to pull out faces. If I wanted to detect and match faces, we could do that as well. It just might take a bit more time. So we've set our configuration. We're going to create clips and extract frames, and then from the frames we're going to detect faces. On the next step, we can configure how many faces are pulled out of an existing frame. Here it defaults to 10, but because of the number of people on the street that we saw in the video, I'm going to crank that up to 20. We could go as high as 50, but 20 should be sufficient. As far as the precision level for detection, we're going to leave it at medium. Medium is a nice balance between precision and false positives. What we want here is to collect as many faces as we can, so we don't want to get too strict by going high or highest. So we'll keep it at medium, and we'll move on to the next step. We can skip face enrollment because we're not choosing at this time to match faces. And then when we get here, we're at the extracting frames and clips portion. So there's two parts. The first part is the upper part where we define the start and the end position. Now, without going back to the video, I was paying attention to when that gentleman emerged towards the camera. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start this off at 12 seconds. And although I saw him exit the frame around 16 seconds, what I'd like to do is put this up to 17. Throw an extra second in there for good measure. So that is our clip portion. The second part is the frame extraction portion. By default, it'll extract it at 1 second. We could go to 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 10 seconds, or we could even do 4 frames per second, 24, 30. In the interest of time, and to simply illustrate how this is performed, we're going to select 1 second. So this should go by pretty quickly. Actually, we could even do half of that. We're going to do 500 milliseconds, so that should give us 2 frames per second. Once we're done, we can go to the next step, and as far as performance and quality, we'll leave this the way it is. And finally, before we go, in the bottom left hand corner, we can turn on Show Face Preview. I like to put that on there because as we're extracting faces, it's nice to see what's going on. Some faces get flashed up there, and sometimes that might perk your interest. And we can go ahead now and scan the media. Now the first thing that's going to happen is the video gets extracted from X-Ways, and then the clip, based on our parameters, will be extracted from that video file. And then once that's done, you'll see that the font will no longer be red. It'll be black like it is now. And the frames are going to start to be extracted, as well as the faces. And once this is done, we can then simply go back to our project file and examine the results. So you can see how quick that happened. We can click OK, return back to our main window. You can see here some 3 dots that tells us there's some children objects. I double click on that. The first thing, or the first child, is our clip file. If we want to play that, we could simply view external program, and here comes our miniature clip, or the clip and the miniature version of the movie. So that was successful. If we double click on this, we'll see the children, which are the frames. Now if you look here, you can see that there's some parentheses. We have 2, 1. These are the number of faces per frame. And if I double click on this one, we'll have 3 faces. I go to the preview window, I'll click that one, this one, and that one. Now if we want to see the faces and our guy, we can filter the results. And there's 2 things we need to do. Up to the, oh, I lost there. From the, my mouse is doing something funny here. So from the labels filter, we can choose clips, frames, or faces. So I'm going to click faces here, and then activate, and then recurse, and then gallery. Now, there are some false positives because, again, we did use medium. However, the important part here is that we did get our faces. Again, don't forget, this wasn't a scoping in on one person. We asked specifically, find as many faces you can, up to 20. And from the frames that we gathered, which again was the whole canvas, all these faces you see here were part of that. But we did catch our guy, and you can see that they are here. So this completes our demonstration of creating clips using Exponent Faces. And you can have fun playing around with this. It's certainly a powerful tool to really cut down on what you need to disclose or what you need to examine. We welcome any questions, and we look forward to seeing you in future videos.